What is the real secret behind Jungkook's impossibly slim waist and athletic, perfectly sculpted body? How does he keep his form so flawless despite a chaotic schedule? Are there private moments hidden from the public that hold the truth? Like this story, comment your thoughts, and subscribe to get more exclusive, deep dive stories about Jungkook and BTS, moments you'll never see on stage. Your support keeps these stories alive and even more revealing. It was just a photo, or at least, that's what it seemed at first. A single picture appeared on Jungkook's social media, no fancy background, no grand announcement. He stood in the corner of a softly lit room, wearing a simple black t-shirt. The caption, just a small emoji, almost teasing, but it wasn't the caption that caught the attention of millions. It was him, more specifically his waist, slim, sharply defined. The fabric of his shirt clung just enough to hint at the shape beneath. And in that moment, ARMY around the world collectively stopped scrolling. Was it an illusion of the angle? Was it the lighting? Or had Jungkook's already enviable physique somehow become even more unreal? Within minutes, comments exploded. Wait, look at his waistline. Is it just me? How is it possible to have a torso that looks this balanced? His ABS. I can literally see them through the shirt. Zoomed-in edits began spreading across Twitter and Instagram. Side-by-side comparisons with older pictures popped up. And with every new frame, one thing became clear. Jungkook's body had shifted into something even more defined than before, leaner, tighter, but still radiating that controlled strength he was known for. But how? A change no one saw coming. In BTS's early years, Jungkook was already fit, broad-shouldered, muscular, and youthful, but there was still a softness to his build, the kind of natural physique you'd expect from someone athletic yet still growing. He often joked about loving food too much to commit to strict diets, and though he worked out regularly, his routine wasn't extreme. But now, everything was different. His body didn't just look trained, it looked sculpted. His waistline cut in sharply. His core muscles sat high and firm, and even under loose clothes there was a visible precision to every proportion. Rumors began swirling. Some said he'd adopted a new core stability program combined with Pilates, an unusual choice for a male idol, but one that could explain the tightened midsection. Others speculated he'd cut certain foods entirely, replacing them with a high-protein, lean regimen that stripped away every trace of extra weight. And yet, the transformation didn't feel purely physical. There was something else in his stance, in the way he carried himself, as though discipline had taken root in him, not just in the body, but in the mind. The silent night in the practice room. A staff member once shared a story, one that had never made it into any interview or behind-the-scenes video. It was after a massive concert in Osaka. The stage had gone dark, the crowd long gone, and most of the crew were already packing up. But in a small practice room backstage, light still spilled out from under the door. Inside, Jungkook stood alone in front of a wall-length mirror. No music played. The air was still, except for the sound of his steady breathing. His shirt clung to his back as he moved, not with the flashy intensity of a dance rehearsal, but with slow, deliberate control. One arm lifted, a turn of the torso, a contraction of the core, over and over. It was as if he was carving himself, each movement a chisel stroke on a living statue. The staffer didn't interrupt. They just watched for a few minutes before slipping away, knowing instinctively that whatever was happening in that room wasn't just about fitness. It was about focus. It was about control. Theories and whispers. When the viral photo began circulating, ARMY's theories came flooding in. Some believed Jungkook was training for a secret acting role, one that demanded a slimmer, but more agile physique. Others suggested he'd been inspired by MMA fighters, merging power with speed in his workouts, and a few linked it to a possible upcoming BTS comeback, imagining choreography so intense that a lighter, sharper frame would give him an advantage. But beneath the chatter, one question lingered. Does Jungkook even realize that his transformation has reached a point where he doesn't just look human anymore? He looks untouchable. The mirror in Jungkook's personal gym was unlike the ones in the dance practice rooms. It wasn't meant for performance or for matching synchronized moves with the other members. It was for self-examination, the kind of mirror that showed everything, even the things no one wanted to see. He stood in front of it in a black sleeveless hood pulled low over his head. In the dim lighting, his outline looked almost unreal. The deep V of his torso tapering to a waist so narrow it seemed like an optical illusion. Each abdominal muscle etched like lines in marble. A bead of sweat rolled slowly down his neck, tracing its way over the slope of his collarbone. His breathing was calm, but there was tension in his eyes, as if the reflection in front of him wasn't enough, as if he was still searching for something more. Some might have thought he was chasing perfection, but perfection wasn't the goal. No, this was about discipline, about proving to himself that even when the world demanded 1,000 other things from him, he could still own this one thing: his body, his strength, his control. And in that moment, alone with the mirror, the applause from stadiums and the noise of the outside world faded completely away. Whispers from the past, long before the cameras, before the world tour and endorsements. There was a boy in Bison who hated feeling small. Jungkook was always quick and agile, but there was a time he thought he wasn't strong enough. One memory came back to him, often a memory from his early trainee days. He had been practicing for hours, trying to keep up with older trainees who seemed to have endless stamina. By midnight, he was drenched in sweat, his legs trembling. He collapsed against the wall, frustrated at himself. A senior trainee walked past and, without stopping, simply said, "If you want to stand in front, you have to build yourself for it." The words burned in his mind. From then on, he started training differently. It wasn't just about dance or singing anymore, it was about transforming himself into someone unshakable, inside and out. Years later, that determination had evolved into the sculpted form the world now admired. The slim waist wasn't just an aesthetic choice, it was a byproduct of the same mindset he had built since that night. Between the lights and the silence, there is a moment after every performance when the lights go down, and the crowd's roar echoes faintly in the distance. Most people retreat backstage, laugh with friends, wipe the sweat away. But Jungkook often lingers. He'll stay under the shadows of the stage, stretching, adjusting his breathing, feeling his heartbeat return to normal. It's not about cooling down, it's about connecting with his body, listening to what it's telling him. On one particular night in Los Angeles, after a stadium show that left ARMY breathless, he didn't go straight to the dressing room. Instead, he found an empty corridor, placed his hands on his waist, and took slow, deliberate breaths. The narrowness of his frame felt almost strange in his own hands. The firm tension under his skin a reminder of the months of sacrifice. Was it worth it? The question brushed against his mind for just a second, but then he remembered the faces in the crowd, the way their eyes widened when he lifted his shirt during a dance break, the collective gasp that surged through thousands of people at once. And he smiled. ARMY's investigations. If there's one thing ARMY is known for, it's their ability to notice everything. When the first viral picture surfaced, fans didn't just comment, they investigated. They pulled clips from recent concerts, zoomed in on rehearsal footage, and even analyzed airport photos. They noted how his shirts hung differently now, how his jeans fit more snugly at the hips. They spotted the faint outline of his core muscles when he bent forward, the way his posture seemed even more controlled. On forums, long threads began to form. Some ARMY speculated he had adopted fasted cardio to burn fat without losing muscle. Others argued it was all about Pilates, pointing to a small clip from a behind-the-scenes video where Jungkook was spotted on a reformer machine. And a few insisted the key was his mental focus, that it wasn't just about exercise, but about the way he tuned out distractions. But no matter the theory, one thing was certain. Jungkook's transformation wasn't by accident. This was intentional, calculated, crafted. There's something about the way Jungkook trains that makes it different from anyone else. Most idols follow a trainer's plan, counting reps and sets. But Jungkook, he listens to his breath, to the way his muscles contract and release, to the rhythm of his heartbeat.